Kingston upon Thames, not to be confused with the capital of Jamaica. Kingston is the main town of the Royal Borough in southwest London. No more than a 30-minute train journey from the centre of England's capital. In theory, Kingston offers an ideal place to escape the busy, overcrowded central London street entertainment scene and gives you an opportunity to busk somewhere without needing a license that is in London. So I thought I'd better check it out for myself so I can let you know how it is. Here is how I got on busking in Kingston. Okay then, welcome to Kingston. Kingston upon Thames, by the way, not Jamaica. I've probably already made that joke, although that would be fun to busk there one day. I have a theory. I think that the London boroughs that are on the suburbs are better than the ones in centre. I reckon the suburbs of London are better for busking than central. So I'm here to see if that theory holds weight. I've already played twice, so I already know how it's going. But I'm gonna go through the rules for busking in Kingston upon Thames now. The rules for busking in Kingston upon Thames. The Royal Borough of Kingston keeps its busking guidelines nice and simple. Whoever wrote the entry on busking and street musicians on Kingston Council's website clearly prefers to keep things short and sweet. No complaints from me though. That's awesome. The pedestrianised areas of Kingston town centre have become a desirable venue for street entertainers of all types. Busking includes circus, dance, magic and street theatre shows as well as music and living statues. Living statues are great, eh? Buskers in Kingston do not need to obtain a licence or a permit, but the council do offer some very familiar sounding guidelines. Do not stay in the same place for too long, aim to move to an entirely different location at least every 60 minutes. Excessive use of amplifiers is actively discouraged. If you use an amplifier, you must control the volume so that it can only be heard by passers-by and not in adjacent shops or office. Or office. Just office. Make sure you do not cause an obstruction in the street. Keep clear of doorways, street furniture, telephone boxes and leave space for wheelchairs or pushchairs to pass. No selling. The selling of CDs and tapes is forbidden as this constitutes illegal street trading. I like it. Simple, easy to understand and nothing unreasonable. Well done, Kingston. So with all that in mind, let's get on with my experience of busking in Kingston upon Thames.
Here it is then, spot number one, look. Got people coming from all angles. So,
spot number one. Kingston's town centre is ideal for busking.
Places to go, places to find peace and quiet.
You know somewhere is a good place when there's actually buskers on Google Street View. So when I arrived on a sunny Friday morning, I was surprised to see that there was no other buskers around. Just me.
Is all that you know you'll be spending your savings on writing your bucket list.
So I headed straight for what is probably the main pitch in the town centre, which is the circle on the floor outside the Bentall's shopping centre on Clarence Street.
Man search for meaning, yes, yeah, that feeling what you deeply desire.
This is one of those pitches where you have people coming from all angles due to where the streets are. In my experience, these are usually the most optimal for buskers. Although not having anything that you're backing onto can feel a little vulnerable.
Your bucket list, where did life go?
especially when it's really busy. And it was really busy.
You know, you're a millionaire. You've reached the number of times that you said at the
Sometimes when you're busking, you set up, you start playing, and people respond right away. You get donations and interactions within the first couple of chords. And sometimes, for whatever reason, it seems to take a few songs, or more than a few songs. But as soon as the first donation came in Kingston, which was probably about 5 songs in, the floodgates were open. They just kept coming. I don't understand what causes this. Maybe it just takes a minute for people to warm up to what you're doing. Or maybe people just need to see one other person do it first before they do it too.
I'll be spending all my time living out my bucket list.
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna stay here for 2 hours. This spot's too good, and it doesn't seem to be troubling anyone at the moment. Security have walked past like maybe 3 times, and they haven't said anything, so I'm just gonna stay here, stay put, try the other couple spots later on this afternoon. All good so far though.
One of the most difficult things about moving every 60 minutes, for me personally anyway, and particularly on the first set of the day, I often find after the first 60 minutes, I only feel like I've just warmed up. I sort of hit that flow state and I don't want to stop.
I speak at the palm of the sublaw.
If it's obvious that there are no other buskers around that might want to play in the pitch that I'm currently in, and the security don't seem to be bothered about moving me on, and people in general just are responding really well, then I always prefer to stay put for 1.5 to 2 hours, especially on the first set. So in Kingston, I did just that.
Then I play my music in the sun, and I'm a joke.
And it was a huge success. I could tell that I was in for a good day. Well, I'd already had a good half day.
You're the cutest thing I ever did see.
Spot 2 in all its glory. Play into the marketplace.
Spot number 2. After I'd finished up in spot 1, I could hear the faint sounds of a fellow busker down the other end of Clarence Street.
Remember when we tried to catch fish?
So I decided to venture off somewhere else. I'm not sure how I missed this when researching Kingston, but I stumbled across the marketplace and my first thought was, wow, this looks like an amazing place to busk.
Didn't have a piece of faith.
So I quickly checked Google Street View again, and sure enough, there's a busker right there, stood exactly where I was stood. I'm not sure how this slipped past me when I was researching Kingston, but this also looks like another main pitch of the town centre. So I decided I'd give it a go for spot 2. On Google Street View, it shows a busker right in the middle. I actually decided to set it up on this side, outside next, right next to the Charter Quay alleyway, as this had some great foot traffic going to and from. And the benches opposite offered a nice ready-made audience just for me. This spot was a lot slower than the first one. There was less foot traffic, and I think quite a few of the people that were around had actually already seen me playing in spot 1. But that said, I did do quite well for just a 1 hour set. Sometimes I'm a little wary of playing in places that have people already sat in them. Almost like I'm superimposing myself on these people who were just enjoying the peace and quiet. But then sometimes it works really well. My unsuspecting audience seem to actually really enjoy themselves when I'm playing. Unfortunately, this was the case in Kingston Marketplace.
Feeling in September, didn't go away until November. Remember, all of these we said we'd regret. To this it I can't begin. Didn't realize until we left.
Okay, that's set 2 done. A bit more tame than set 1 in terms of donations, but still a very good vibe. I really like it here in Kingston. It's very pretty. It's like traditional London. It's nice. Right, let me count this up and see how much we've done and see how well we're doing.
There you go, look at that. Now we get a view of the Thames in the background. All right, set number 1. So I just set up as soon as I arrived, and oh, it's raining. How's that happening? It's like blue and sunny. What's going on? And things started so slow. Like, I think I got 6 songs in and absolutely nothing, bone dry. And then I don't know what, like the water broke or something, because then it just it started and then it didn't stop, and I ended up having a really good set. The security walked past maybe 3 or 4 times, didn't say anything, and I did end up staying for 2 hours. I don't know, I just didn't want to leave. I was having such a good time. Ended up making £76.94 in total. That's including card. My train fare here was £20, so we've got a £20.95. So we've got to minus that. But all in all, it's such a good busk. I didn't realise how much I liked it here. I've visited it maybe 2 or 3 times before. I've never busked here though. And honestly, it's such a nice place. It's a great vibe. The people here are really friendly too. Okay, for spot 2. I enjoyed spot 2 a lot because I didn't know about the spot. I just stumbled upon it. When I do these videos, I tend to try and research as much as I can about the place. Typically, I'll sort of mess around on Google Maps and try and find places that look like good busking spots. And I found a few in Kingston, but I didn't know about the Market Square, which I don't know how that escaped me, but it didn't go as well as set 1. But perhaps that's the time of day, perhaps that's, you know, people of Kingston have already walked past me once. It still went well though, I really enjoyed it. And it's such a nice little place. I was staring at a building that said 1400 on it. You know, history. Imagine all the people that have walked in that square. Madness. In set 2, I made £26.09. Total for the day is over 100 already, but we've got to minus my £20.95 train fare. So I'm gonna try another 3rd set to finish up the day. It's a shame it's not busier down here by the river, because it would be awesome to play along here. But yeah, I'm gonna eat some lunch and take my time and see what happens. It's a beautiful day. I wonder if I've got sunburn again. September sunburn. Spot number 3 and the last one of the day. I won't lie, I was feeling a little peculiar on the day I was in Kingston. I was having a really good time, don't get me wrong, but I think I was just a bit spent in terms of energy.
Know who I am. Thank you so much. Now she doesn't give a damn about me.
However, before my train home, I had enough time to squeeze in one last set, and I'd yet to check out the other end of Clarence Street.
Baby, this city light made and maybe with me.
After walking up and down, I decided I'd set up outside Nationwide. This street had a very heavy flow of foot traffic all throughout the day. And this was a Friday, so it was a weekday. It's also September now, so there's no school holidays or anything like that. I can only imagine that this is busy any day of the week and probably all year round.
If he knew the truth, he lives on my block.
Clearly just a really good spot for busking. I played a quick 45 minutes before I had to catch my train, and it was rad. At one point, a member of staff came out of Nationwide. I thought she was going to tell me to turn down or perhaps move on, but instead she asked me if my card reader used Bluetooth or Wi-Fi because they were experiencing some kind of interference with their own card readers.
Maybe with me, no.
I suddenly had all these visions of accidental transactions coming through to me. People's like mortgage loans or something entering my account. But upon checking my reports, my transactions were definitely all at the busker level.
No, she doesn't know what she's missing.
Spot 3 was another great set in Kingston. I finished up and the day had been so successful that I went and got myself some coconut water, trying to replace some of those electrolytes that I'd lost and made myself feel a little less peculiar. And it worked. I was no longer that out of it for my journey home.
How does she know who I am?
A busker's secret. Coconut water. Who'd have thought it?
About me. I got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, maybe. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a team.
So I finished up in spot 3 with £22 and 4 pence. Not bad at all for just 45 minutes. It also topped off my overall profit for the day at over £100, which is always a sign of a great place. I'm a Brighton-based busker, and it takes nearly 2 hours to get to Kingston, but I will definitely be returning. I also put it above anywhere that I've tried to busk in central London at the current moment. And if I was a central London based busker, I'd say it's well worth that 30-minute train journey. Thank you for watching the video. Give it a like. Make sure to hit subscribe. Get me to 500 subscribers. And if you're watching this and I'm over 500 subscribers, maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000, who knows? Maybe 100,000. Oh. And if you are a true fan, turn the notifications on. Maybe leave a comment below if you've busked in Kingston or you're thinking of busking in Kingston. I will see you next Monday with a new video. Until then, maybe watch the one on the screen or just find another one on the channel. Peace and love.